Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, beloved friend God, great masters, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Sri Yukteswarji, beloved Guru, Paramhansa Yogananda Ji, beloved friend Swami Kriyananda Ji, we bow before you all and offer our devotion humbly at thy feet. We invoke your presence, your divine grace, and eternal blessings this evening on the soul of our dear friend, Nayaswami Tushti Ji. Receive her and bless her forever and ever. Thank you for joining us in praying, blessing, doing a satsang with Tushti Ji, I would say. This is the hallmark. This is the way a spiritual life is led, out of confusion totally. You know, confusion, Master said, Swami wrote in a Festival of Light, he said, confusion is where we begin. God intended it that way. This is a Leela. We are all His children uniquely. He actually created all creation for education of our souls and ultimately entertainment. And then Master told Swami, but he said, look around how few are entertained or educated. And which I can say, look around in the world. It's opposite. Somebody dies, we cry. Somebody is born, we distribute sweets. Master says, to reincarnate, Swami said in his opinion, in Master's opinion, was a disaster. You know, when I read about reincarnation, I was like, oh my God, what did I not do? And I have to come back, you have to do something that's joyful. Now the spiritual path, it's not that it's laborious. Master says, once you understand the reality or how big it is, how beautiful, unique, how much intelligence goes behind creating even one form, he says you cannot help but be in awe. In Bhagavad Gita, one of the most amazing verses which needs no explanation is where Krishna starts describing, he speaks on God's behalf. He starts describing His nature. He says, I am the doubt of the doubters. I am the, nobility of the noble people. I am the sweetness of flowers. I am the light. And on and on and on he goes. And Master says, ultimately when we awaken, we realize it's like that story where a young, devotee was throwing flowers very beautifully at a statue. Master said, Sri Yukteswarji related in this story. And he's throwing flowers. His devotion is growing with each worship he's doing sincerely. Till he goes into ecstasy and realizes that he is sustaining the universe. And Sri Yukteswarji said then the devotee started throwing flowers on himself. And Master says when he heard that story, he himself went into ecstasy. That is, not many people know about it. We suffer and Swami says pain, yes, pain comes. That is actually pain has to come. Patanjali says pain is purification, otherwise we will never wake up. But he says, whether you suffer or you remain in bliss is a choice. When we complain, when we see things wrong with this world, I had to come myself to that point as a doctor when I was losing patients left and right, not due to my bad skills, I was only an assistant. But people die all the time. Swamiji was very clear about this. He says people think World War I and II were bad. He says if you look carefully from a distance, in 100 years, the whole planet changes. Nobody's there. Nobody. And he says this is a big concentration camp. So a wise devotee will step back and try to say what's happening and where do I go? And that blessing I think is very, very profoundly present in Ananda communities, in the very step people sometimes take sincerely to come on the path. Is, like Swamiji is a great example. He didn't come for a level 1 or level 2 class. He came to find God. And Master used to say the last shall be the first. He says this is the intention. That is what we can draw from gurus, from their grace, their presence. And I am very grateful on some level. Yes, we were feeling that Tushtiji was suffering. But people who have been with her a long time, if you can really see that, yes, the body is suffering, but the soul, again, those of you could see, there was a light. She was beaming, which was incomparable to the healthiest moments you may have in the body. So it's like, somebody once asked a monk, Brother Lawrence in the 17th century, why does God give us, death, suffering, pain, mutilation in the body. He says the Father sends illnesses of the body to cure us of the soul ones. And I think she was cured of everything. And it's very nice. It's very beautiful. We often think it's random. A passing, a prolongation of death is random. I don't think it is. Somebody once cut a tree in Master's ashram. And of course he was already hinting at his passing. And he says, now my end is very near. You shouldn't have cut that tree. Another time he asked somebody, help the work. And he said, I'm trying. And then at some point Master says, now help whenever you can. Because he says, earlier if you would have helped, it would have prolonged my life. There's so many factors. It's not just his life was in a tree or his life was in a devotee's health, but all these things do play a part. And I think, the time that our dear Guru Bhai received, I think she, one by one, burnt all karma. I also want to mention to us, because we are all learning on this path, some of the words. I don't know how many of you received the letters that Asha ji, who was a very, very dear and close friend of Tushti ji, she was by her bedside in the last many weeks. And she was sending, how Tushti is feeling, what she's saying. And Tushti ji was saying something which we all relate with. She says, this is very difficult. I just have no experience of this transition. I have forgotten if I had any in the past life. I don't know how to do it. But then God and Guru's grace comes. And Asha ji was saying that, we were all trying to help her to the best of our ability. Because none of us understand or remember, she said. But she said, as she was writing those letters, as Tushti ji's passing was getting prolonged, she said, I see why this might be happening. She says, this is happening to help everybody understand, because this is sooner or later coming to all of us. And picking on that, I chose to read some things that Master and Swami may have written, because when I read Swami, one of his essays called The Final Exam, Swami says, how you leave the body is by far the most important moment you will face in your life. Now most people now look at the tragedy, we don't want to think about it. And Swami says what you do or not do is quite secondary in life. He says, when you're about to leave everything behind, everyone behind, Master says you may go to some other planet, in some other galaxy, based on your karma. He says, that moment and your attunement and understanding is very important. As I read through those chapters, I said they have laid it out. I urge all of you to read that chapter, The Final Exam. It's close to 15 pages. Swami outlines what to do in a time when God has given you the grace of knowing that your end is coming and you have some time to prepare. And he gives examples of masters, students, Swami's own examples that he saw. Another very nice book. Now I don't want to talk about books, but I know Tushti ji's heart was all about helping people, and she would have loved it. We all got clarity on this beautiful subject, is Karma and Reincarnation. It's a book written by Master, all of his teachings. He explains what is life, how do we come in the body, why should we leave the body in grace, and how it is possible. Okay? Now we will read a ceremony written by Swami Ananda ji. This is called the Astral Ascension ceremony. And please mentally, inwardly pray with me, following which we will do a small ceremony. Do we have petals, rose petals? Okay, so please you can come one by one and take a rose petal and offer it before Tushti ji. But let's first pray for her soul. Dear Tushti ji, you who have gone before us have entered a realm which our souls remember, a place of freedom, light and laughter. Take with you on your journey our blessings and our love. We shall miss you. Our desire is not to hold you back, but only to tell you, friend, we are yours. Our love and support are ever yours, and our prayers for your highest happiness. We shall meet again. Once more we shall laugh together, rejoice together, and share in the joy of seeking Him. Claim your soul's freedom. Bless all who ever harmed you or wished you harm. Give them your love and your prayer for their freedom in God. Friend, cast from your heart all outward attachments. Realize that earthly goals, however shining, are but God is the only reality. Burn your earthly desires in the fire of wisdom. Burn earthly limitations in the blaze of inner freedom. Burn earthly disappointments in the flames of spreading peace. Burn earthly joys in the bonfire of divine bliss. See your physical form as a discarded garment. Clothed you now are in garments of radiant light. O free soul, see your past actions as scenes in a vast unfolding tapestry. Feast not your gaze wistfully on episodes already finished, but look ahead. New adventures await you, fresh, joyous victories as you advance toward perfect freedom. And what of us, friend, who love you and would be remembered by you? Behold us as threads of light in the tapestry of your life. Threads which, through the magnet of soul friendship, will appear ever and again, woven with increasing beauty as our hearts expand together in God's love. Divine Mother, receive this, thy child. Purify her in thy perfect light and love. Grant her eternal freedom. Oh, Amen. Let's meditate for a few moments. Now let's rub our hands together, sending eternal waves of light and joy towards the soul of our beloved friend, Tushti. I will now read from this poem of Master. Thou and I are one. Thy cosmic life and I are one. Thou art the ocean, I am the wave. We are one. Thou art the flame, I am the spark. We are one. Thou art the flower, I am the fragrance. We are one. Thou art the Father, I am thy child. We are one. Thou art the beloved, I am the lover. We are one. Thou art the lover, I am the beloved. We are one. Thou art the song, I am the music. We are one. Thou art the spirit, I am all nature. We are one. Thou art my friend, I am thy friend. We are one. Thou art the master, I am thy servant. We are one. Thou art my mother, I am thy son. We are one. Thou art my master, I am thy disciple. We are one. Thou art the ocean, I am the drop. We are one. Thou art all laughter, I am a smile. We are one. Thou art the light, I am the atom. We are one. Thou art consciousness, I am the thought. We are one. Thou art eternal power, I am am strength, we are one. Thy peace and I are one. Thy joy and I are one. Thy wisdom and I are one. Thy love and I are one. That is why thou and I are one. Thou and I were one, and thou and I will be one evermore. Om Shanti. Now I request you to please come one by one. Take some rose petals in your hand. Offer it before Tushti. I'll be singing Sri Guru Deva and see her returning to the true home that belongs to everybody, with Master, with our Gurus. I will invite now some of you to please come who feel so inspired to share very briefly, a minute or so, any quality about Tushti Ji, because we are remembering God who played that role uniquely through her today. Any nice sweet memories you may have in it. She was so encouraging. I remember the first time I'll start here. The first time I saw her was in Gurgaon, and I felt like I was meeting my mother from another incarnation. Very simply. No questions asked, no names. It was just like, wow, this is the spiritual path. This is called reunion. This is magnetism. At other times I felt she was my sister. She was certainly a very, very good friend, very encouraging friend. But I especially related with her on those two levels, sister and mother. And I remember once, now my hair is short, you can even see a scar. I went to Lavasa for a swim and I hit my head against something. I was bleeding and I thought it would stop, but I reached all the way back to the ashram, it didn't stop. And at the ashram we didn't have anything. I'm the only doctor in the ashram. So what do? So I remember, Tushti Ji has been a nurse. So I went up to her place like this and I said, Tushti Ji, I need some stitches on my head. And she was like, oh, but I've forgotten, Aditya, I've forgotten. I said, don't worry, I said, are you willing? She said, of course I'm willing. I said, let's practice. I gave her a small pillow. That's how surgeons train. A pillow is tight, so you cut it and it opens up. Then you try to sew it and you learn. So I said, here's a pillow. And she gave one stitch on that. And then she gave me 4-5 stitches over here. Surendra Ji was holding the light. I mean, see, that's motherly. That's fatherly, like a child falls down. And so many things happen. Ever since I've come on the path, I've realized that every moment, if you are aware, every moment is a very unique moment. It will not happen. For that reason, unfortunately, people who do not have the awareness, they take the term to meaninglessness. It's all the same. But no, when you're aware, when you're looking for those things, when your heart is seeking that kind of love and relationship, you will meet those kind of people. You will see every moment is magical. You will see there's a lesson in every moment. You will see everything happens for a reason. And then we see that God's hand is in everything. And so many times this happened. I remember, once we gave a retreat together, and I also feel that we must have worked together because she was also a nurse and she had trained in ICU and surgery, and she told me I've assisted in many of the things, and I said, these surgeries came very easily to me in this life, and I would do it once and then give my friends the opportunity to do it. And then once we gave the first health retreat together, it was just flowing. I dropped a thought, I missed a point, she would pick it up and present it more beautifully than I would have. Then she missed on something and I would come and she would talk of, let's say, more of the spirit and emotional aspect, I would complete the physical aspect. And later on, after we had just finished our meals, we were both, I think, feeling that joy in our heart, the completion that comes when there is this, complimenting. And I just said, we were washing dishes, she said, such a joy, grace, such an honor, such a happiness to serve with you, brother. I said, I was feeling the same thing. I said, I'm feeling the same. That again, these are moments left from some lifetime, and when it comes to this point, Master said that nobody had crossed his path in this life without a reason. So this magnetism, this principle is so sweet. So anyway, I want you all, I went slightly long, but please come and share one or two things you may like to. Her soul will rejoice in listening to those stories.
Today I'm actually feeling like they say in Gita, Pasam si jirnani yatha vihaya, Navani Grandhati Naroparani. I think our dear Tushtiji has left the garb of body behind, and she's left for the more beautiful world. There was something very fairy-like about her, very sweet in nature, and something like bird-like, delicate movement she always had. The way she did the exercises, the energization, or the yogic postures, there was so much grace in her, which I will never forget, which is very, very rare. And when I first saw her doing that, I asked Surendraji whether she was ever into dancing. And he said, not exactly, but she is very fond of dances. And you could see that quality of delicate fairy-like movements in all her actions. When she smiled, her whole being smiled. It wasn't just, nobody does that, I think mostly in Ananda, but with her it was all the more very sweet smile she gave to anyone she met. And in her last days, we used to visit her in the hospital also. And I was stunned to see she was growing with every new visit. She was looking more and more at peace, more and more radiating with strength. And I mentioned it to her also, to some of my other fellow Guru Bhais also. I mentioned that, how's this? It is wonderful to see this. This is something I actually witnessed, and the strength was growing day by day, and it must have really grown some more in her last days, because I think, as Adityaji said, she finished some of her karmas here, and she wants to be one with the astral people. She wants to be with all those people who have taken the bodies of light. When she came to my house for tea, and she said, I'll bring something. I said, I'll make the tea, and she said, I'll bring something from home. I thought she'll bring something in a bowl. To my amazement, she had brought everything, right from beautiful napkins to spoons to a tray and to 3 plates and everything. Such detailing, such beautiful ways of arranging things. I think I learned a lot from her, and the beauty of the spirit is something wonderful. And she'll always be remembered. Always be remembered.
My first tryst with Ananda Yoga was on the discourse day, and the topic was free will, destiny, and karma. Thereafter, I came here, and of course, that time Deviji and Jyotishi were here. But after they left, I personally feel the one who filled in that space was Tushti ji and Surendra ji. So with Tushti ji, I could just speak what I wanted to speak, and the best way she could comprehend or understand what I was connecting to her with was when she would hold my hand. That holding hand gesture, and then closing the eyes at the end, and signaling the power to you, was one of the best moments. Once I just asked her casually, what is it that you learned from your parents? She said she had a history with her dad especially. Even then, she did learn something from him. And what she learned was not to be like him. So even in that context, I really understood that where she was going. And I came to Bhosle Nagar, and of course I've been staying here. And they happened to stay in Brahma's channel once, so of course we were meeting on the roads, we were bumping into each other, where I would speak about my career changes or different ventures that I was entering into, and she and Surendraji, of course, just gave me the push to keep moving. And she did make the right move of going back to the US, where she was born, and to die in a blissful state. I think even that's a learning, even in those trying stages.
We say, hello great souls. This was the way in which Tushti ji used to greet every one of us while coming or while leaving, and the radiance in which she spoke every word that was exuded always while interacting with anyone in a leisure way or while teaching. Um, in fact, we belong to the group which just managed to squeeze themselves to receive her teaching. Uh, Such was her spirit and willpower that until we received our Kriya initiation, we never learned that she was undergoing treatment at all. Only when Surendra ji, he described that you guys would have observed that she has been losing weight all around. We never actually observed, she was all full of energy and all. Only when he told, we started observing this. Yes, that is, she has been losing some weight and all, but her radiance, her glow, her energy levels were all high. In fact, she was the epitome of energization exercises. She was so fond of them. I remember once upon a time at Kriya retreat, Nayaswami Jaya was there, and in between their conferences, he insisted Tushti ji not to speak anything about energization exercises because the time was so short. She came on the stage when her turn came, and she spoke few words. Then she said, "Sorry, Jayaji, I have to speak about energization exercises." She couldn't contain herself. She spoke at length about the exercises and their usefulness. In fact, as somebody pointed out, the detail in which she taught all those energization exercises were so marvelous that it just seeped through all our minds. Of course, her sweet nature and the balance which she kept between as a teacher, mother, and different relationships, that was very, very nice. On all the occasions, her way of giving treat was bringing her big chocolate cake, which we used to relish a lot, and she used to eat very little. That was that. Of course, there are many things to be talked about Tushti ji. I think words would not be much enough. She will always be remembered until we meet again.
So as I said, we were really blessed and really fortunate to have to be the last batch to have
Send it to Surendra.
to have had that great experience with Tushti ji. Unfortunately, we couldn't meet Swamiji in person, but we got a glimpse of Swamiji through Tushti ji. If there was one word to describe her, it would be love. She was a very strong, powerfully loving person. I've never met anyone so powerful, so magnetic. She had such a strong presence. We would always remember those Sunday mornings where all of us would gather here. We will always cherish those times, those were golden times, not just figuratively but very literally. The ways in which both of them have touched our lives, words cannot describe them. What can I say? I just can't find the right words to describe how they have lovingly helped us. She was the true epitome of service, of love, and everything great that can happen on this earth.
I want to add a word over here because Harsh and Mahesh spoke. They were her students, and now are taking on teaching. They are in resonance with that. I think she must be blessing you to really rejoice in that.
Hello friends. Yeah, I don't know whether today is a joyful day or it's a sad day, though we are told it's a joyful day as she has been liberated, but it's difficult to grasp it. Since morning, ever since I came to know, it's really sad, but I'm trying to be strong. Yes, we were very, very lucky, as my course mates have told, that we were the last batch with her, and though I was spiritually inclined before I joined this group, but to tell you, the way she took spirituality for me into an entirely different dimension is unsurpassed. I cannot describe that in words. Tushti ji and Surendra ji were marvelous Guru Bhai, Guru Ma, and both of them taught us fantastic ways, and the way they explained everything from level 2 to level 4, it just, we just took swayed away, and it was fantastic to have Kriya initiation done by them. They were there with us till the last minute, and while we all pray for Tushti, I also want to pray for Surendraji, because for him this vacuum will be quite great. I know he's spiritually advanced and he can handle it, but I would personally convey my wishes for him and to pray to God to give him strength to bear this loss. Thank you.
I'd like to share a little about the place that Tushti was in her last days. She was in Laurelwood, which is in the state of Oregon, just above California. And it's a beautiful, beautiful place. And I was so fortunate to go on my own trip. I had to go back to the US recently because of a visa situation. And on the second day that I was there, I got to see them. And of course, we know what Tushti was like here, radiant in the midst of the illness, and very accepting, and wonderful sense of humor was still there. When I got there, the afternoon, that was her bad time. Surendra told me that probably we wouldn't have a good conversation that day, but the morning after that, we would have a good time together. That was true. In the morning, I swear, I wouldn't have known if I hadn't seen the wrapper on her head and I saw the medicines and that sort of thing. It was just like old times, and yet it was only about a week or two later that she made the decision to stop so many things. And you may remember that you all signed, many of you anyway, signed cards for her, and when I gave the cards to her, she was so radiant. I have a picture which Sangeeta, what is her last name?
Leishram, yes.
There you are. Oh, okay. You have the pictures, lovely. And one of them is her looking at the cards, and there's this beautiful expression like, wow. In other words, she remembered everybody here with such love. And I think what she has done for us here in India is she planted a seed. She was herself the seed. And I think of her really as a very soft summer breeze, a summer rain, very nutritious for the soil, out of which wonderful blessings and plants will come. But that one picture, when you see it, if you haven't already, I think you will see how much we meant to her who were here in Pune. So our dear sister, our dear friend, goes with so many blessings.
Tushti was a great friend to me. She was always very sweet, and me and my mother, we had talked about her, and we always felt that she could not have had a negative thought about anyone, because she was so pure of heart. And she was always towards me, she was always very interested in knowing how I'm doing at my job and how am I doing in life otherwise. And she would want to celebrate with me many times the little victories that I would have from time to time. That was always very heartwarming. I want to share a few words from her. Just about a month ago, she wrote to me, and it was by surprise because I had written to her some months back, before, I think it was right after she had left for America. And she wrote to me just this 1 month back, and it's very beautiful, so I just want to share her words. I know Divine Mother is in charge of our lives. All we need to do is say yes to life. She makes it easy for us when we surrender into her unconditional loving embrace. She carries us over our most challenging times. We never know how Divine Mother will work through us. Surrendering into her light completely, body, mind, and soul, is when her blessings and her grace flow. So, just going to close that.
I knew Tushti from the time she came to Pune, and she was a very dear teacher in Ananda Yoga. And so I thought it's good to remember some of the things she taught us, apart from the postures, was the affirmations, and particularly the one on Garudasana, which she would do so beautifully. And she shared the affirmation. She said, "In the center of life's storms, I stand serene." And she said, that's what you should always remember. And shared the example of once how in America she was teaching at the Jewish Center, and one of the ladies, an old Jewish woman, was going through a very hard time in her life, came to her and said, just that one affirmation saw me through a very difficult moment in my life. And she said, don't underestimate the power of these affirmations. So, and in her life, particularly the last few months, we really saw her live it. Right in the center of the storm, she was so serene. I remember when she had multiple chemos, she used to go for walks here, and a couple of times I happened to walk with her just before the satsang. And I said to her, Tushti, you're not carrying a phone with you? Because she would get spells of giddiness and would be quite unstable just because of the physical stress her body was going through. And she says, you know, Lata, I still struggle to remember that my body is suffering so much. And I said, you know, she's just fully surrendered, like God just said, in Divine Mother's hands. She doesn't need the safety of a cell phone to be able to call someone if she felt ill. She was so full of energy and joy. Every time you visited her, I think she gave us more than what we could do for her. And a very dear friend. Sometimes, you know, some little conversations with her, and you would think that was just a little conversation. And something very fickle that I remember. About the time she was to leave for America one day, she called me up and she said, where are you? And I said, Tushti, you know what, my daughter wants a pair of heels and we are going all through Phoenix Mall. She's just not able to decide. And she laughed and she said, call me when you're free. And I went and visited her after that. And she said, can you send a picture of Ira wearing those heels? So I thought, you know, that's not the thing to send Tushti. And I just left it. But the day before she was leaving, when I called her, she said, you haven't sent me the picture still. And I asked Ira, and I clicked a picture of those peep-toe sandals and I WhatsApped it to her. She went to Paris when she was on the transit flight. She checked her WhatsApp and she sends me a message back. Thank you, friend, for sharing it. It's very cute. Tell Ira. And by the way, I'm having croissants. You want some? From Paris. So that's who she was. Even the little things she said, she really meant it. You know, we thought it was a little thing, but she really meant everything she said. And her simplicity was simply overpowering. She walked and talked from her heart. And the memories I have of Tushti and her running behind her cat Arjuna up the hill all the way. This was not longer than a year ago. So the illness completely overtook her, but mentally she was there. And a few days ago, I happened to call her. So that day she was not feeling well, so she said, call me the next day. And the next day I called her, which was probably a few weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago or so. And she was talking on the phone, and it was just the Tushti before she was diagnosed with any illness. She was so full of joy and energy. Of course, I couldn't see her, it was just the voice. And it felt like nothing had happened, and she was talking about everything in a very matter-of-fact way. I think she taught us in her life and death how to live surrendering to God's light. She always talked about the light of God, and I wondered why Tushti talked so much about light in the last 1 year, but now it's all clear. Thanks to us,
I especially remember meditations in the morning with Tushti ji when I was about to go to my college. And it was both of them together with a lot of love. And she used to smile and hug me all the time. May your day be filled with blessings of God, peace, and I was really happy. Also, she used to give me some paper when I was meditating here. She used to leave, dear one, I'm going for a walk. Please lock the center when you go. God bless you, or may your day we feel, every time when I saw her, she was always loving like my mother. I remember her face like my mother's face all the time. And I think Swamiji chooses Nayaswami, just those who are, those who care for others. And she was, giving more than 100% for it. She was the right person for actually a Swami.
I think we've all said it, but at the cost of repetition. Loving, caring, selfless. She's taught us a lot in this journey. She's always cared not just for us, but even for our family members. She's been very, very caring and loving. I know she was feeling so proud when my son became a priest and always blessed us. It's been lovely to have them both in our lives. It's been lovely.
I'm very grateful that Tushti and Surendra came into my life. They taught us a lot, and yes, I agree. It's all repetition because we can't stop seeing this, that she exuded sweetness with joy, kindness with compassion, all the time, to everybody. And I feel a loss of a very dear friend.
It's fast time will close, but I want to ask Upadhyaya, she was a very special and dear friend for you. I'm sorry, but why don't you speak from there and let's turn the camera.
We came to know she was a wonderful person. She was always very happy, very cheerful, very caring and loving. You may be surprised that even she was not well, she visited us at our house 3 times. The last time she came with Surendra, she brought a beautiful gift for us. This Himalayan rock salt lamp, which I will always cherish in my life, and I pray for her all the time. Thank you very much. She was a unique person.
Those of us who had to be with her during this transition phase, not the time of her illness, but then also in the past when she had to even visit home. She said, I just met my family in Pune, and all the friendships she made with all of you. I know how deeply, like Prisha was sharing, seeing that card, seeing your best wishes. See, this is the beauty of the life, that we remember friendships. Jayaji once said, he says, in the end, he says, friendships is what remains. And I think she was very happy, very grateful that she came here. And she was actually flying. She told the story many times from one part of America to the other. And in the middle of the flight, Swamiji had an idea and he says, ask them to come to India. And then when they landed in Gurgaon, he says, ask them to come to Pune. That he would never let people, settle down, or he was always surprising people. That was something very characteristic about Swamiji. But even in those surprises, there was nothing random. He just knew. And when people were open, Surendra and Tushti were always open to big changes in their life. And it was so nice that we got to meet and Surendra. Let's close with a prayer. Seeing Surendra ji in the light of Tushti ji, Swami ji, our masters. Let's see the family of Tushti ji comforted in their heart. Let's pray that their sorrow turn to joy and understanding in the next few weeks and years. And let us see Tushti ji with Swami ji, who she served unconditionally, selflessly. The Master, it's Sri Yukteswar ji, whom she so much loved. All our gurus. And let us pray to her soul for her eternal freedom in God. Let us also pray to her, receiving her blessings. Let's see Surendra and Tushti ji in the light of God and Gurus. Let's rub our hands and unite our blessings with all the blessings of Guru Bhais across the world who are praying to her. Let's unite our blessings. Om. God's light expand within you. May we be one in that light someday. Go with love, may joyful blessings speed you safely on your way. May God's light expand within you. May we be one in that light someday. May we be one in that light someday.